Here's something confusing in my life story that I just realized people might misunderstand. So, when I was about, oh my God, 12 years old, it was a red brick building before middle school. There for about a year. We used to play wiffle out front, very young. We used to have to go upstairs to eat. I guess some of the kids used to live there, but you wouldn't realize it from looking at it. A little girl gave me a teddy bear, stuff like that. That place was actually hemorrhaging money in my classroom for the whole year. We didn't have a single class. We just played with toys for the whole year. Not even kidding. All the other parents eventually caught on as their kids got older, as actually some just right away, too. I mean, my parents should have caught on, but then again, my parents aren't like other parents. So, yeah, I went without any education for a whole year and had to just teach myself how to catch up. But even though they were hemorrhaging money and definitely got caught because they did it with the whole classroom, I've also been emailed a link a while ago about the MAC or MSEC also stealing money and being shut down. But I wasn't there. I didn't witness that. I wasn't part of it. Or maybe I was and just didn't realize it. But the school I went to, as in high school and middle school, was the MAC. Not the worst education. It is special ed, and I did have a machine that I talked into to type for me in my last MCAS and stuff like that. But I had a lot worse. I mean, I had a school that for the whole year just let me play with toys. I had a whole year where, oh, sorry, a whole 18 months where I just wandered through the woods. I mean, I basically missed like 5 years of classes in my lifetime. And my mother wanted me held back for her crazy little plan in first grade too, even though the teacher and I was doing well at that point. I mean, actually, I was one of the top of my class. I did that little puzzle. I forget the name of it, but it's a square puzzle that has different pieces. I was second place. Didn't come in first, second. I was worst at the spelling bee in first grade. Actually, no, I was the third worst. Third worst. So I wasn't the worst, but I was the third. And this was all in the same orphanage, St. Anne's. First grade, I was still going to school in the orphanage at St. Anne's, same place I won the swimming medal that my mother ended up saying that a black guy or a black kid must have won and I must be some thief or something. This is right from the get go, too. This is right from day one with her. Right from day one, drugs and thievery and African Americans must be better than you. This is day one, straight out of the orphanage, I'm getting this treatment. And it continued all the way to the day that she passed away. And I kept on trying to give her love. I kept on trying to just get her to be a good mom. And no matter what, she would just have these outbursts about, must be your biological mother. No, if you just came clean with what you were doing, then we could have a normal mom kid relationship. But no, that's too much for you. So, yeah, there's all that going on. So, yeah, no education, missed out 6 years of it. And when I tell these stories, keep in mind that there are two schools that I know for a fact we've already caught for hemorrhaging money. One was caught because they just had a whole classroom, including me, who didn't go to school for a whole year. And some of those kids might have been there longer than a year. They might have got to play with toys for 2 years. I really don't know. I only can tell you that I played with toys for a whole year, and this was like when I was 12 years old when I came back from Texas. This might have been the second or one of the first schools we came to that I got to see in Chelmsford when I was living in Chelmsford. And yep, so I missed school then. But I also found out after I graduated that my high school was shut down for something very similar. But not my branch of high school. I know my branch was doing very well, and it seemed like all the money was going to the right places in my branch. The teachers were seemed pretty qualified, and even though the classes were dumbed down, and I was usually, I mean, I got to pick my electives, and I got to I was one of the kids that got to be a teacher's aide because I actually got the grades to be at the top choice. So I just chose my own. There was a couple of us that used to get good grades there. It's pretty easy actually for me to get good grades. Even missing, not being able to read, even missing all those years, I did pretty well. I feel bad for the kids under me who went to school their whole lives and still weren't at my level. They should have been way be above me. Or maybe, maybe I'm just a savant that was held back. I really don't know. I can just tell you one thing: I did fine in that high school with very, very, very little schooling. Um, and because, like I said, I've missed so many years. Don't forget, also, we moved around from Mass to Texas to New Mexico, to New Mexico to Texas, Texas to Maine, to Maine to Mass, Mass to Maine, Maine to Mass, Mass to another Mass, Mass to another Mass, just all over the place. So when we were like going from Maine to Texas, no school. From Texas to in Texas, I went to school, but then when I got to New Mexico, no school. Then no school on the way to Maine. Then no school in Maine. Then no school on the way to Mass, and then finally school in Mass. Now that's like a 4 year period where my education is lacking, and that's not even the first gap. Then you can add on the total year at this other school where I played with toys for a year. So you can just keep on adding these times together. No, don't forget, I learned the same thing over in first grade because my mother wanted me to be held back. So don't forget, I lost a year there. Put all that together, and that does seem like a problem. But there are two schools I'm mentioning the hemorrhage funding that I've heard about. One that I was there to see myself, and one that I got an email about after I graduated.